Good Tuesday morning, and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning. If you're watching us live on Facebook, thanks for that. If you're watching this later or listening to it later, we appreciate that as well. We do upload these shows to www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We have audio and video versions there that you can check out at your leisure if you ever miss one of these shows and want to catch back up. Traffic today, there is an accident on I-12 westbound heading into Baton Rouge roughly before O'Neill Lane. It has traffic backed up all the way past Jubin, pretty solid stack. Traffic starting to stack up at 190 4-H Club Road and River Road. Because of that, also some minor delays on 64 heading into Central. That's looking like your best bet to get into Baton Rouge today, unless you're just willing to sit in the traffic. Otherwise, pretty normal traffic patterns in Livingston Parish. A lot of traffic in and around the schools, Burgess and 447, as well as Pete's Highway and Highway 16. There is a lot of traffic heading out of Watson as well. Probably going to get worse on I-12 as folks drop their kids off at school. Weather today, it's currently 41 degrees. 75 is your high, 48 your low tonight. Going to have some nice days here. It's going to get pretty warm during the day, but it's going to cool off at night every night. Going to be sunny during the day. Very sunny. Going to be kind of nice. Yesterday, we had a crazy day yesterday, as I'm sure most of you saw. We had a pretty short show. Lots happened yesterday, so let's just jump into it here. John Cowart, who was convicted of the murder of Emily Rogers, calling it drug fueled, from February of 2018, was sentenced yesterday to life in prison without a chance of parole. The whole situation there was what he said was he panicked, she panicked. Per scientific testimony and expert witness, it was more so that things got a little out of hand because he had methamphetamines in his system, and eventually a zip tie was strangulated her, and then he killed her with a hammer while she was in his trunk. So he will now be going to prison for life, per Judge Burris at the 21st Judicial District Court. The state warded off a ransomware attack yesterday. If you were trying to go to the DMV or the OMV or use any kind of state services, you probably had a weird day because they were under attack. Ransomware is usually some sort of a virus or piece of software that surrounds either some data, piece of software, something electronic, and holds it ransom. You got to pay to get access to it. According to the governor, John Bell Edwards, there was no ransom paid. Their IT department was able to seal off the ransomware and boot it out, but it's going to take some time to reboot systems over the coming days. What was also strange is that the IT director for the state, his house was set on fire yesterday. However, firefighters say that did appear to be incidental. Speaking of the DMV, we spoke to Registrar of Voters Jared Andrews yesterday. There were people that were having trouble voting on Saturday. They either the name was wrong, the address was wrong, or they weren't on the appropriate precincts list at all. What we learned as those folks went through the process with the people that were working that particular precinct is that anyone who has registered or changed their registration with the OMV in Denham Springs or the DMV in Livingston, that information probably never reached the Registrar of Voters office. To be clear, the OMV, they can't register you to vote, but they can change your registration, is probably submitting their information to the DMV in Livingston, but from there it never reaches the Registrar of Voters. According to Registrar of Voters Jared Andrews, people at the DMV, those workers are not filling out the forms all the way appropriate, or filling them out appropriately, or transmitting them correctly. And any one of those problems will cause an issue, and the information will never reach him. He has currently brought it up with Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin, and he brought it up before the 2016 presidential election. Nothing changed, so as he said, he's probably going to have to bring it up again. So if you did register or change registration through the OMV or DMV, it might be a good idea to go up to the registrar's office, check your voter registration, make sure that all your information is correct, because it could potentially not be correct. So please check on that. First fresh road in 100 years, that's the goal of the Master Plan Committee as they move forward. A little bit of confusion after the Parish Council turned around and passed the Envision Livingston Master Plan from 2013, after which Master Plan Committee Chairman Gerald Burns came to the council and said, well, we need direction. The council said roads inside the economic corridor, we need to improve visibility and traffic. The economic corridor is a section of area about 1.5 miles north and south of I-12 that is prime for commercial development, high real estate, high scale residential in terms of apartments and condos and that kind of thing, and industrial. But it's not, the infrastructure isn't there in terms of utilities or roads. So that's become the edict of the Master Plan Committee, which they have taken very seriously and have come up with a wide range of road projects that would help. Now, of course, these all take money. They're well aware of that. But according to Gerald Burns, who is the chairman, they are going to stay on top of it. Mr. Burns was a member of CHILP. That's Citizens for Highway and Infrastructure in Livingston Parish, an older group that kind of disbanded after they had success with their first major project. They took funds basically for some things to happen on Pete's Highway. That project went in over budget and was scrapped. So they had those funds rededicated to the interchange at Jubin Road for I-12. So that's kind of an early success that they had. He's looking to kind of bring something like that to this group. It's just like CHILP, which was 9 members on a board. This is also 9 members on a board, looking to put those citizens together and make something happen. Currently, Cook Road Extension, which if you don't know would be, Cook Road is off Pete's Highway in Dim Springs. It would connect to Jubin Crossing, is funded. And the studies have been done. They're really waiting to just get started. Currently, Jubin Road is also in the process of being widened. Now, that is a long process. Utilities are just now being relocated. Haven't even finished relocating the utilities for the roundabout there at 190. The widening of Jubin will not occur until that roundabout is built. So still waiting for that. But what Mr. Burns is looking at is really the Jubin Road extension. That's what he's after. He figures, and all the appropriate studies for the Jubin Road extension have been completed. So he's looking for the money. And it's his belief, idea, or just opinion that if they can find that funding, it'll cause a waterfall effect wherein they can start earmarking funds or finding grant funds or doing whatever they need to do to get all of the roads on the list built. Some of the things that are on there outside of Cook Road Extension and Jubin Road Extension are widening 190 basically throughout the parish, but the major focus is through to Walker and then through to Livingston. Also getting some widening done on 42 in and around the Springfield and Albany area. And also, trying to get 449 extended all the way to the interstate to try to keep those garbage trucks, 18-wheelers, and industrial trucks that come out of the Walker Industrial Park off of 447 and out of the city limits, giving them another way to get on the interstate and get on out of here. So there's a lot of movement there. We'll see if it manifests itself in anything. But Mr. Burns is on the case. He's trying to get these new roads built, and right now he is hyper focused on that Jubin Road extension. What we talked about is the first fresh road in 100 years. Outside of developers building streets for their subdivisions, there has not been a fresh road constructed by any kind of government, that's parish, state, or federal, outside of the interstate system, which is federal projects. So any state or parish level roads have not been constructed in 100 years. It has been a long time. He brandished a photo to me of a gentleman from about 1920 who was standing there in his overalls with a shovel, digging what would become Highway 190 in the Albany area. For many years, it was just a dirt road. So I'm going to be interesting to see how that master plan committee can move these balls forward and juggle them. But it is their job to focus on those roads. so that the parish council can focus on the thing that continues to come up as folks come and complain about new subdivisions and new development, and that is zoning. That is what the parish council is focused on at the moment. When it comes to the master plan, we'll see if they can't get everything to come together all at once. And the parish council is now complete as Gerald McMorris won his runoff over the weekend. It's a marathon week for the school board. They have a committee meeting tonight, a committee meeting tomorrow night. All these start at 4 p.m. And then a regular school board at 7 p.m. on Thursday. Tonight, the policy committee will meet, and they'll be looking at two different things. One is a Department of Education basically requirement. They don't have a choice. They're going to have to adopt this. It's a new fee schedule, and it talks about waiving fees for those who apply for and are granted economic hardship. So that would be anything from regular, your regular just student activity fee, that kind of thing. These are being discussed, both of these policies, the one I just discussed and the one I'm about to. So they aren't on the books just yet, but that is an LDOE, which is Louisiana Department of Education mandate. They have sent it down, and by state law, they're probably going to have to approve that one. The one that will really be up for discussion is a more strict electronics policy, especially for 6th through 12th graders. The policy would affect 1st through 5th graders in that they would not be allowed, they would not be allowed to bring electronic devices on campus for any reason. That includes cell phones, tablets, computers, anything like that. They would not be allowed on campus, period. For 6th through 12th graders, electronic devices are allowed on campus, but only if they are off. If they are caught with them on, if they are caught with them on at all, if they are caught with them not connected to the school network that has certain filters applied to it with regard to social media, certain internet sites, that kind of thing, and especially if they're caught using them on campus, they will be confiscated by the administration, and the parents would have to come pick up the device from the school's office. Now, that's kind of your first tier punishment. After that, the punishments start to ramp up for repeat offenders. So it's going to be interesting to see how quickly and they adopt this. Now, if they do adopt it, they're going to test it out in some pilot schools the second semester of the 2019-2020 school year. If they feel like they need to adjust it, they will over the summer, but they're trying to get this in place for 2020-2021 school year, which is next year. So it will be interesting to see what they discuss tonight and whether or not they want to roll this out for all of the schools. It's an interesting policy, and again, it's very strict, but according to the policy, it's there to protect the privacy of other students and teachers, and it's also to negate disruption. As we all know, as adults, you're in a meeting and a cell phone goes off. Imagine being in a class full of kids. So again, now, if that committee adopts that policy, they will then have to ship it to the school board for a actual adoption by the school system. The committee can only recommend adoption. They cannot adopt policy outside of the board. Now, of course, the committee is made up of board members. So that'll be tonight at 4. Then they'll be meeting again for on Wednesday to discuss the superintendent evaluation, and then of course the regular school board meeting on Thursday, and we'll talk about what's on the regular school board meeting outside of these committee reports later. Southeastern is set to get into it with Nicholls State in football for a Southland Conference title. Huge year for Southeastern, slated early in the year to be somewhere 7th, 8th in Southland, and now they're looking at a chance to be 1st or 2nd, hoping, they're pushing for 1st. And they've got a good chance. They have upset a lot of people, went and took care of business against Abilene Christian over the weekend, now setting up at Strawberry Stadium, I think they call it the Red River Rivalry. They have a chance to beat Nicholls and take the Southland Conference title, so it will be an interesting game coming up this Saturday at Strawberry Stadium. Miss LaQuette of Dim Springs High School has signed with Eunice, and she wants sort of that signing to motivate her other teammates. She said that it's an honor to be able to go and play at the next level, and she's hoping that her teammates will see that, elevate their game, and try to have success in the same way she has. Ms. Paige Duncan, if you don't know that name, that's a Denham Springs High School tennis player who has been a multi-time state champion in tennis, has signed with James Madison University, a pretty prestigious university over there on the East Coast, to play tennis. So congratulations to Ms. Duncan, and well-deserved, consistently year over year winning that state championship title in tennis. The Pilot Club Pound the Pavement 5K is set for this Saturday, November 23rd. It's recommended that you get out there early. It's a nice little 5K. It starts at the playground near where the wet City Hall was in Denham Springs. It's called Kids Corner Playground. And you get a great view of River Road as you run down River Road and back. It's very beautiful in the morning. If you get good weather, it's a great run. It's a great course. Highly recommend it. Even if you can't run the full thing, maybe go walk it. It's a lot of fun. And last but certainly not least, McHugh, who belongs to Melissa Fontenot, won the Cool Cats competition for 2019. So congratulations to Miss Fontenot. McHugh had a crazy little hat on when she took the picture, so he did not look like he was having fun, but it won her the contest. So congratulations to Miss Fontenot and McHugh for winning the Livingston Parish News Cool Cats contest of 2019. It's currently 41 degrees, 75 degrees is your high, 48 your low overnight. It's going to be like that for most of the week. It's going to be nice, beautiful days, nice and sunny. It's going to get warm during the day and then cool off at night. There is an accident on I-12 westbound near O'Neill Lane. It's causing backups all the way to Juban Road and beyond. Also, so people can avoid that, they are now using 4-H Club Road and 190 to try to get out of Denham Springs or out of the western side of the parish into Baton Rouge, causing some heavy delays there. There is also delays on 64 heading into Central. Again, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. If you ever miss one of these, you can always catch them online at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We do post audio and video versions there for your viewing or listening pleasure, whichever one you choose if you ever miss one of these. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We're once a week in print. We also have an app that we'd like to remind people about. We will actually be joined by Coach Chad Mahaffey today in the booth. We'll be recording a podcast with him. Last team alive in the football playoffs, so we'll be talking to him about that and what they face in perennial juggernaut Acadiana, and they will be on the road this Friday playing them. Thanks again for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. We hope you have a great day, and we will be back in the booth tomorrow.